is you want to make an offering memorandum, or what we call an OM, also referred to as a prospectus or a pitch deck, right? I call it an OM, real estate lab. All right, guys, one thing I forgot to mention in the video 2 videos ago, raising capital process, totally slipped my mind, so I'm just making a separate video on this, is you want to make an offering memorandum, or what we call an OM, also referred to as a prospectus or a pitch deck, right? I call it an OM, offering memorandum. And this is something you want to create right before you go under contract. So when you're in between the LOI acceptance and purchase agreement being signed, you want to start working on this. And I'm going to show you a screen share here. And the OM is designed to be our pitch deck for our investors, right? It's going to share all the information on the deal, the project, what we're doing, who's the team that's buying it, who's involved, how much money is needed, what are the returns, etc. So I'm just going to walk through this PowerPoint really quick, show you guys what we all include. They do take some time to make. I'll probably upload this for you guys to utilize if you'd like. It's not a perfect template, but it gets the job done, and I've used it several times in the past. I have a newer one that we use. I couldn't find a PowerPoint for this, but you guys could definitely utilize this one and check it out. It's straightforward. You can build your own if you want and rebrand it. Totally up to you. So obviously you just have a cover page here, a disclaimer that this is not an offer for investment. Solicitations will only be made through PPM. Obviously, it's just a general disclaimer. Executive summary. So what is the project? What are we doing? What are we going to put into it? What's it worth? How many units? Purchase price? All that good jazz, right? So we're putting together all the details of the deal on a little executive summary. Investor high-level summary. What's our goal? Time frames. What we're looking to do. How much capital is being put in. When are we going to sell the property, etc. So we've got another little overview here of the property itself. What's the condition? What are we going to do to it? What's the unit mix? Construction style, garden style, number of buildings, all that kind of stuff. This was a 170 unit that I bought in Fort Worth. The location on a map. So we bought this property, is right down the street from another property I own, which I'm selling next week actually. Here's 136 units, here's the 170. And then we go into and throw some sheets from our pro forma. So I just pull these tables directly from the Excel model, Real Estate Lab software, and you pull these in, operating expenses, 3-year pro forma, unit mix projected rents, a summary of renovations, sources and uses. So what's the total amount of money we need, renovation costs. So this is the amount of capital we need. Here's the loan. It's a $13 million total project, acquisition fee, closing costs, all that good stuff. Projected returns. So we'll show like sample returns for a sample investment depending on the size. Here's how much cash flow you'll earn over the course of the investment. Here's the profits at sale, total gain. If you put in 100,000, you're ending with 156, almost 157, right? So it's a 1.57 equity multiple. So we're just putting in as much detail as we can for investors so they could see what's going on. Here's some photos. Why Fort Worth, submarket, org chart. Org charts are really important. We outline who is the managing partner, who are the limited partners, what's the structure. This one was just a straight 80-20 split. Here is the entity that we're buying the property in, total investment needed, investment structure, Class A, Class B. How is that going to be structured? How are we going to pay out profits? Additional details on some tax and timing and when do we put out reports and stuff like that. And then finally, what's the ownership team look like? So not too crazy. What is this? 19 slides. I've seen them as little as 8 slides, 7 to 8 slides, and I've seen even longer than 19. So this is probably a little extensive. I think my newer ones, we trimmed down on them a bit. So this is another one that we put together for a storage fund. Obviously, same thing, disclaimer. We got an overview. This one's a little bit more direct and to the point. I think this one's 17 slides. Information on the fund, timeline, cap structure. This is the capital stack here. Return expectations, fees, org chart, target locations for our properties we're buying, active holdings. This is examples of 2 projects that we've got going on already in the fund. Operators for the fund, management team, facts, frequently asked questions. So those are both examples of what we are putting together as our OM for the investors. It definitely takes a little bit of time. You could spend several hours doing that. So I suggest doing it when you get your offer accepted. Start putting all that together so that right when you go under contract, you could launch it and start sending that out to people. That's going to be your best way. What I do, because a lot of times the file sizes are really large on these PowerPoints, save it as a PDF. Go to ilovepdf.com, compress the file, and it'll turn it into something that's like 1 to 2 megabytes, and then I can text it out to people. Send it in emails and text it out. Because sometimes the file size is really big with the pictures and stuff. And so ilovepdf.com, I believe, is the website. And go to their PDF compressor, upload it. It'll shrink the file size down. And then I love texting out to people because I've got a lot of investors that are just normally like, hey, text me deals when you get them, and I'll throw you $100K. And they're good on pretty much every deal I do. And so those guys, I love sending them out in text. We have a conversation. I'll give them a call. But yeah, that's my strategy. Put together an OM, make it look pretty, straight to the point, not too much information. And that is what's going to help you sell investors on coming in on your projects. All right, guys. So this is your homework for Chapter 8. I want you to take a couple minutes, sit down, and write out or type out a list of everyone that you know in your personal network, friends, family, etc., that has capital, that you think has capital to be able to invest. So write down a list of all those people, get all their contact info together, and then I want you to call them up once you've kind of got this plan put together. Call them up and ask them, have they ever considered investing in real estate? Have conversations with them. Start talking about it. Tell them what you're working on. Like, hey, I'm looking to go put together some real estate projects. I'm really doing my homework. I'm starting to look at a lot of properties, a lot of deals. And I want to have a conversation with you about whether or not you'd be interested in investing in one of these projects. We're looking to earn some really strong returns, and I wanted to personally invite you to get involved with me on it. That's what I would do. So that's step 1 of your homework. Step 2 of your homework is find a good real estate attorney that can draft PPMs and operating agreements. You can just Google this. My favorite way is from a referral, but if you don't have any referrals from anyone, just go on Google and look up real estate attorneys in your city. I always suggest getting someone local. You normally have to have someone in your state that is licensed to practice in that state, but the more local, the better. Somebody nearby that you could, meet in person and get to know. It's always good to get to know your attorneys since you're paying so darn much for them. So those are your 2 pieces of homework. Write down your investor list, your initial investor list. Reach out to all of them. Talk to them about investing. Just have that initial conversation. Tell them what the process is going to be like. And number 2, go find a good real estate law firm that can handle your transactional and SEC work. Thanks.